Community partnerships and our collaboration between buildings, departments in the district, and teachers is really the foundational work of digital learning. We also work to support the integration of technology into classrooms as well as curriculum. Here's a little bit more from our digital learning specialists about the work that they do specific to their schools.
A big part of our job is developing students into digitally literate citizens, which means they can navigate the digital world and they know how to be responsible, respectful, and safe online.
We also do a lot of work with teachers, supporting them in finding new educational technologies and different applications to encourage student engagement and their voice, because we aren't face-to-face with them and we want to be able to have them find a way to share their voice.
We also focus a lot on collaborative learning, especially when we have the children in person. That was a big part of what we do, and we're doing that with the teachers as well, really focusing on collaboration, because that's the way we really can come up with some wonderful ideas and how to best use technology in the classroom.
And one way we're doing that with collaboration is with this team, as well as with our staffs, looking at the educational technology standards and how those fit within what we're already teaching within each building. Where do those standards already support what students are demonstrating, what they're learning, and how do we strengthen that connection?
And one of the major shifts this past year and a half is working with common core technology tools, such as the Canvas Learning Management System, across the entire district for staff and students, developing the competency and the confidence with that tool, as well as looking at some other core technology tools to empower staff and students to be able to share their voice, thoughts, and become a more knowledgeable digital citizen.
Hello and welcome. This is an example of using Google Slides to create a digital workbook that is interactive for students to have as a reference as they work through a course. This was created by Ms. Poteet at the high school, who is the ASL instructor. And as you can see along the top are interactive units. So as they progress through a course, a student can click and interact with the ideas present. On the right-hand side are reteaching videos for specific skills, slides and vocabs, as well as an interactive to-do list. So this is a great opportunity for students to reflect on their own learning as they progress.
Teachers have been using Nearpod, and it's just a phenomenal student engagement platform that adds endless engagement and digital learning to our students' days. Using tools within Nearpod, like this Collaborate board, helps to allow students to respond and get immediate feedback from the teacher and from other students. Teachers can use Nearpod for assessments. Miss Van Horn, she uses Nearpod for book clubs to assess reading fluency. Even kindergarten and first grade teachers can take a sight word worksheet and turn it interactive. Instead of having students just watch a video, they can post questions in the middle of the video to make it interactive. With the many tools in Nearpod, it just makes learning fun and interactive.
Is getting the kids doing these really awesome gizmo labs. And so the most recent one we've done is called Feel the Heat. And then we get to try out different chemicals, and they get to see the full chemical formula. And then it also gives them the full chemical name. So, and then we get to play around with saturation. We get to play around with grams and milligrams and, milliliters and grams. And then we're taking temperatures. And so the kids got to run through here, go through all their trials. They took down data. We talked about the calorimeter, book creator. So we have these energy on the move books that we've done in the past. And here they are virtual. So students information and plop it into a book where they can sit there and look at it. And it's like, ta-da, here's what I learned.
In 7th grade Washington State this semester, we're using Book Creator for students to keep all of their learning within one journal. This is kind of the library I use with my students. I have access to each of their books, which is nice because I can put in scaffolding, sentence frames for students who might need some extra support. And then as teachers, we meet, we plan out what we're going to do, and then we have some creative teachers that make templates that are pages with graphic organizers and visuals, and then we're able to easily send those pages out to each of the students' journals. So Book Creator has been an amazing tool for us.
For those of us that are at Monroe High School in the CTE program, having students at home not being able to physically use the computers in the computer labs has been really difficult. Now enter remote PC. And what's so slick is that from home, you can see whatever is on that computer. So you literally see the desktop like that, and then you log in. So I'm literally logging into this computer in Lab 505 right now. And in a second, I will see its desktop. There's the desktop on the computer in the lab. And I'm going to open up one of the programs we use, Isotope RX8 Audio Editor. I'm going to open up a sound file, and I'm doing this from home.
Padlet Backpack has allowed us to have students share across the schools. So they're writing for larger audiences, and they have choice in how they share their information. So they can put in video, audio recordings, the entire doc, or a picture. They could add links. They can share in a variety of different ways digitally.
So one of the ways that we try to engage students in any environment, remote or in person, is to connect with them. Student connections are essential. And so Ms. Reed and I both try to recreate as closely as possible the in-classroom experience that our students have when they're with us together. And so when we teach Shakespeare, which we teach every year, part of that is costumes. It's a performance. And so even over Zoom, it's a performance. And so we dress up as Juliet or Friar Lawrence, respectively, actually many other parts as well. But the idea is to try to connect with students so that they feel like they're part of a classroom, so that they're part of, in this case, Shakespeare, part of a performance.
And basically the 3 new tech tools or strategies that we've had to learn were Canvas, making videos for our lessons, and we make those, again, to individually. So we don't do a department video because kids want to hear, Mr. Adams' voice if they have Mr. Adams' class, or my voice if they, so we make our videos, and Zoom was new, obviously.
But certainly on the individual student connection end is the Google Assignments. So that allows us to see the students' work and progress and evaluate it in real time.
One of my favorite books is Behind the Legend, Dragons. The reason I like this book is because it goes over the culture and origins of dragons. Another reason why I really like this book is because it supports my opinion that dragons are real. It goes over these little stories that came from all over the world that are about dragons.
I used to be really bad at drawing, but I got better and better because I kept trying and persevered.
Hello. So, if you need to color on an image for an assignment or anything, I'll show you a new way to do that.
Today I'm reciting a poem that I have memorized by Broad Bagger. It is called Chocolate Maniac. I love my mother, I love my dad. I love my brother, though he drives me mad. My teacher, she is fine and dandy. I really love my chocolate candy.
This year in science class, we had a project, and I really enjoyed using the book creator because I was able to design a book instead of having to write an essay on the assignment. And so in the book, I was able to put lots of pictures, and if I couldn't find a picture that was correct, I could always draw it instead.
Martin Luther King Jr. was a social activist and Baptist minister who played a key role in American civil rights in 1964 and is remembered each year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a U.S. federal holiday since 1986.
So we know that distance learning has provided challenges, but it has also given us ample opportunity for celebrations. What are some celebrations that you've seen this year?
Well, one of the things we're seeing is that students are becoming far more independent. With us not in front of them, they've had to become very creative with some of their problem solving, and they have risen to the challenge. So we are really seeing them problem solve and think through things maybe they initially would get help on. So the ultimate wait time, and giving them the opportunity to solve and take more control of their own learning.
We're also seeing that students are finding their voice and being able to share what they've learned and not be afraid, especially those kids that are introverted. And in the classroom, they're quiet, they watch, they just see what's going on. But they're able to actually share their voice now because they have time and they are able to do that.
And we've seen an unprecedented opportunity for collaboration amongst teachers and staff. Because we're online and because they have the flexibility to be able to work together on and have the time to work together. Here at Frank Wagner, at least, they chose this year to collaborate by grade level. So they've combined their classes in Canvas and they're sharing their knowledge. They're teaching in specialty areas across the grade level, so that we're developing some experts in curriculum within our teams that they're going to be able to pass on next year. And we've just seen some amazing stuff come out of that because they're able to work together so much more closely.
Yeah, and even on that note, beyond staff collaboration, we've seen students really work together and teach each other new things to where it's almost this peer-to-peer reliance on teaching skills when they get stuck. And I've seen that firsthand even with some of our language learners who have shared their screens and walked another student through how to do something, which is so cool because that takes it off of my teacher explanation and allowing students to work together to solve a problem. So just really cool stuff that we're seeing.
Another celebration is the development of collaborative teams and student leaders and teacher leaders willing to explore and try something new and then troubleshoot if it goes wrong and share that information and knowledge. We've seen some amazing resources be explored and new ideas trialed in classrooms and then shared across PLCs at the high school and at the middle school level, especially the whole school collaboration at meetings and sharing celebrations of student work and use of technology in a new and accessible way has been very powerful.
Okay, so one fun fact is that you can do if you're lucky, you can be in a radio show and actually talk in it. Pretty neat, right?